Concern is because of several things that are going on with CARE, and Guy, we have some of those slides on CARE, this situation, because I want to go over this just to show you why I say what I do when I talk about CARE. CARE was an unindicted co-conspirator in the Holy Land trial, and that may be one that you're talking about, and they've got 32 chapters nationwide, 50,000 members, and they're a civil rights organization, which on the surface sounds very good and is a very good thing. But some of my concerns with what happens with them is how they were founded, number one. And I'm going to read this to you because I don't want to misinterpret anything, but this comes from the FBI. They were founded in 1994. The original founders of CARE attended and were caught discussing the formation of the group during a meeting of the terrorist group Hamas in Philadelphia in 1993. They specifically laid out their goals to set up the propaganda arm of the terrorist organization Hamas in America. They openly talked about lying to the media to conceal their true aim at the meeting, and all of this was captured on recordings by the FBI. I believe they're in violation of the Lobbying Disclosure Act because they continually lobby Congress on pending legislation, but they've never registered with the Clerk of the House or the Secretary of State as lobbying organizations, and it's a violation of our Lobbying Disclosure Act. I work a lot with Iranian Americans and the efforts of what's going on in Iran right now in trying to help people to have human rights and dignity and a democracy in the way that they want a democracy. That's very important to them, and I think we all need to support them as best we can for the, what they're trying to do over there. It's a difficult situation, as we all know. We've brought other moderate Muslim leaders in to speak with our anti-terrorism caucus at different times. And, we also work in our office. I have what we call caseworkers who, in our office, who do help people with problems, and that's one of the things we do with a lot of immigration problems with people who, Muslims who have immigration problems, and we help them too. So it's a combination of a lot of things that we try and work on. But the main thing is, my effort really is to reach out and say, hey, we need to, as I said in the beginning, build some bridges and work together, because none of us like the things that are going on with the radicals that are trying to destroy and in effect rule the world in some way. No, I don't think there's anybody here that would support that.
Good evening, Congresswoman. My name is Radwan Masmoudi. I'm with the Center for the Study of Islam and Democracy, which is a Washington-based organization. For 10 years now, we've been promoting democracy abroad in the Muslim world.
Thank you.
We have I traveled to the region almost on a monthly basis. I just came back a week ago from Bahrain, Jordan, and Qatar. One important thing that we have to do in order to reach out to Muslims, whether American Muslims or Muslims abroad, is not to link or not to think that the only moderate Muslims are those who believe in secularism or those who are secular. There are people who believe in secularism. I mean, I think they exist in the Arab world, but they are a minority. The majority of the people are extremely religious and conservative, but they are against violence, they are against terrorism, they are against Al-Qaeda. I would refer you to the Newsweek article that was published last week by Fareed Zakaria on this issue. Extremely important that we need the support of these conservative Muslims. And I think that this is what you really need to focus on. You need to reach out to conservative and religious Muslims, and not only to secular Muslims.
Well, and that's a very good point, and I do. I mean, a lot of the people I work with are practicing Muslims. But I'm totally open to suggestions that you want to give me of other people that we need to reach out to and work with. I would like very much to have that.
And if we want to engage with the Muslim community, we have to engage with organizations like ISNA, like MPAC, like many other organizations that are conservative. They may not be secular, they are conservative, but they are against violence and they are against terrorism. And I think that has to be the key. I mean, that has to be the condition, that they are against violence and they are against terrorism.
Okay.
So, I urge you to reach out to conservative Muslim organizations and not only to secular Muslim organizations.
Well, I appreciate your comments very much. Thank you. Jabril and Ali met with me some time ago and asked if we couldn't do this, and so that's why I'm honoring the request to do it.
And I'm glad you do. But in following with that, I wish you had, we had this meeting at our mosques, in one of our community centers. I think it would have been, would have been more appropriate.
Well, let me explain to you why we didn't. Because, first of all, when I have a town hall, I always have them in a public setting because I'm a public official. My town halls are always open. I don't usually do a town hall with just a group. I do them for everybody. And the second thing is we wanted everybody, Sunnis, Shias, Sufis, everybody to feel comfortable to come. And we knew that if it was in one particular place, other people wouldn't come. So my problems with Sharia law are things that maybe people don't want to talk about, but they bother me, and especially if you're a female, they should bother you. In some countries, Sharia law is Sharia law, and the government and religion are one and the same. We don't have that in America. You know, we have a constitution that says anybody can literally worship any way they want. You have the freedom to do what you want to do, et cetera, et cetera. But you know, there are tenets of certain segments of, like the Wahhabis, who practice a form of Sharia law that is very restrictive for women. I assume you're familiar with that. I'm not trying to be inflammatory. I'm sharing with you my concerns that this is not the freedoms we know in America. We as women, somebody just came down and said she wanted to rule the world as women. I mean, her organization. My point is, you know, women have just as much right to be everything as men do. And so, you know, that's what bothers me when I talk about the Sharia part of Sharia law. If I'm wrong, you correct me.
No, and I commend you for your fervor and for your outspokenness about, you know, women's rights and what have you. There's plenty in Islamic law that supports women, supports women's rights, and we'd love to have you over at the mosque so we can discuss this and have an exchange of ideas.
Yeah, we need to do that.
Yeah, definitely, we need to do that.
Thank you, sir.